All right, so right away there's a really big difference. You can kind of see immediately this is giving me more of like a witchy vibe. Hello everyone and welcome back to Personal Beauty. I'm so excited to be back with you guys. So for this week, we're going to be talking a lot about sort of like autumnal season and holidays and things like that. So to go ahead and get started with today's episode, we're going to be theming it kind of around Mocha Mousse. This was Pantone's color of the year for 2025, and it just so happens to fit really, really well within the fall or autumnal season. So we're going to be basing our makeup look today off of Mocha Mousse, which kind of sounds like creamy, soft, velvety, light brown to me. So we'll try to hopefully play around with that a little bit. One of the other things that we're going to be talking about today is the Korean term. The word is chugumi. This isn't a common word for me, so it takes me a second to figure it out. It's kind of like the desire to express a certain style. I'm going to be kind of throwing this back a little bit to more of a like warm, kind of spiced pumpkin sort of feel. So hopefully we'll go ahead and get started with that. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the products that we have on the table here today. So I think the best thing that we could have possibly for the Mocha Mousse theme today is this palette right here. So the colors in this palette perfectly fit the theme. It's sugar, cinnamon, melting, mocha, and bean. So this is actually perfect. I think the mocha color is this one right here towards the end. And I actually made pumpkin bread today, so this looks like a recipe to me right now. But we're gonna be using a lot of these colors from the palette today to give me a more kind of shadowy, kind of dark autumnal look, and I'm really excited for that. Okay. Color-wise, it actually blends right in with my skin tone, so this is actually perfect. So we're just gonna take this and we're just gonna go ahead and tap it all along the center of the lid and as well as the inner corner here. Usually I would put more of a bright white shade, but that's definitely more of a summery feel. So I wanna go for something a little bit more muted. I really like this. This is kind of like it's almost like a beige leather color. It's really pretty. So we're just gonna use this to kind of dull down some of the shine that's on my lids right now. And I'm gonna take it all across the center portion of my lid, drag it into the center here, and then even bring it up just a little bit, kind of around my crease area right here. Okay, so we're just gonna focus on that. I am gonna leave my base color alone right now. It is a little bit more of an orange tone, but I actually think it works really, really well with this. So another thing that you might wanna do with your lighter shade is actually drag it down towards the inner corner right here. It's gonna serve as a highlight later in comparison to the contrast that we're gonna do on the edges of the lid. Just do like that. Perfect. I'm just gonna go ahead and now and grab my more contour shade brush. So this one is really, really thin. It's actually quite tough as well. So the only thing that we're gonna be using this for is underneath the eyelid right here and then on the top of the eye. I'm gonna use this to kind of draw out a little V shape and then I'll blend it out with my larger brush. Because I have a base shade already, I'm just gonna kind of dip into just a little bit this top shade right here. All right, so right away there's a really big difference. You can kind of see immediately this is giving me more of like a witchy vibe, a little bit more of like a lined eye look versus this side is a little bit brighter, which is great. I like both styles, but this is definitely more autumnal, a little bit darker, kind of muted winter shade. So now I'm gonna go back in with this one. This is my regular powder brush. I'm gonna be grabbing the shade in the middle. So this is gonna be kind of on the edges of the eye. I want to blend it a little bit into what I just did because I don't actually have a liner for this look, but I want it to sort of make it look a little bit more cohesive. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be, of course, the blush, which I'm actually really excited to try. I've never tried this color before. Okay, I'm just going to pat my fingers together. I'm just going to test it on my cheeks. So let's go for the outer corner. Oh wow, that does come out a little bit pinker than I was expecting. But that's okay, that's why we're playing. Okay, just like this. Okay, so I still like to follow the general concept of kind of like what we do for our typical makeup, like following just the cheekbones all the way up. You don't want to look like a little rosy doll with just a dot in the middle, so make sure you do blend it out. We're blending up towards the cheekbones with this one. Okay, a little bit on the nose just to make things look a little bit more cohesive. I do like that this is kind of muted though. This is really pretty. It sort of matches the vibe of the eyeshadow, which I think is really nice. I wonder if I can do this with a brush. Should I try it? Kind of want to try it. Let's just see. Maybe a brush is better. Oh, that works lovely. Yeah, so this is nice for blending as well. There we go. Much better payoff with the blush brush. All right, I like this. This is so pretty. Okay, so again, you can kind of see here we're missing a little bit of color on the outer apple of the cheek. I'm just gonna take that all the way up. I do like that it's not matte though. I think that's the one thing that I don't like with the powder blushes is that they sort of mattify all the oil. In this case, we were definitely going for a little bit more of a mattified sort of look. I am very shiny, but yeah. Next, we're gonna go over things with the lip. This is always my favorite part. I actually have two different lip products here. So one of these is a cream liquid lip. So this is usually a little bit more like a base, and then you can kind of warm it up with a more of a liquidy sort of gloss if you want. So two very different tones here. So we're gonna start with this one, and then I'm gonna go over it with this one, and we'll see how things turn out. So this is completely opposite of what I would usually buy for myself. Because for me, my natural lip color is very, very pink already. So for me, these are a little bit orange, but we'll see. Okay. Color-wise, you guys can see that right there. Definitely a little bit more of a peachy tone. So this might actually look a little interesting. I don't know, let's just give it a go. Let's try. So I'm gonna start on the top portion of my lip here, and I'm just gonna drag down on both sides. I'll do a couple little lines on the underside, and then we'll see where we're at. It does kind of settle into my lip lines, which I'm not a huge fan of. I tend to gravitate towards more glossy looks, so let's see if this works something out. But let's go ahead and check this. I love the color of. This is so, so pretty. I think this is really similar to the one we saw last time, so I'm very excited to put this on. Okay, so I definitely think that helped. I love the smell of this. I love the texture of this. It's really, really like silky, velvety. I think on its own, I would prefer this one. But we've got this mixture of colors, which definitely does fit the autumn season. I think it looks pretty like pumpkin patchy. I think it's very cute. It looks like I'm about to go get my pumpkin spice latte, so this is great. I'm actually pretty happy with how everything came out today. Let me know what you guys think about the Korean style autumnal look. Leave it in the comment section down below. And then as always, guys, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me what you guys think about the makeup look. I think it's growing on me. I think once we put the gloss on it, got a little bit better, but I definitely love the eyes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.